Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we're going to be exploring a question that's both ancient and really cutting edge.
Right.
How do we connect with something bigger than ourselves to communicate and understand
Yeah.
meanings that go beyond like the normal human experience?
That's a really fascinating question, and it's something that humans have really been grappling with for centuries.
Oh, yeah.
Through art, religion, philosophy.
I mean, all the big ones, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But now, with advancements in fields like AI
Right.
and consciousness research,
Hmm.
we might actually have new tools to explore this question
Okay.
in a more tangible way.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got a pretty interesting mix of sources for this deep dive today.
Right.
We've got a Wikipedia article on just the basics of communication.
Okay.
I've got another one on animal communication.
Okay.
And then some really thought-provoking articles on how AI is being used to decode animal languages. And even one on the benefits of connecting with nature from earth.org.
So connecting with nature is going to help us decode animal languages. How's that going to work?
Well, that's what we're going to find out today. I think what's really fascinating to me is how all of these topics that seem so different
Yeah.
might actually be like interconnected.
Mm.
You know, like if we can understand
Okay.
those fundamental principles of communication, whether it's between humans or animals,
Right.
or even like nature itself,
Mm.
we might be able to tap into like a universal language
Interesting.
that goes beyond our current limitations.
I like that. Yeah.
It really makes you
It
think,
does. Yeah.
if we can feel so connected to nature that it improves our well-being,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of possibilities open up
Right.
when we start to consider connecting with like the universe
Yeah.
or other entities?
It's a powerful question.
It is, yeah.
And it's one that the CE5 protocol developed by Dr. Stephen Greer attempts to address.
Okay, so this CE5 protocol, what is this?
So it suggests that through focused consciousness and meditation, we can actually initiate contact
Okay.
with extraterrestrial intelligence.
So instead of sending like radio signals out into space,
Right.
we're sending out like good vibes.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's definitely like a different approach than the traditional SETI, right?
It really challenges that traditional approach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it raises this question, could feelings and frequency be a form of communication that we haven't fully explored yet?
Okay.
Could this be the key to establishing like a universal Rosetta Stone?
Whoa. Okay, hold on.
Yeah,
So a Rosetta Stone, a way to communicate with all things,
exactly.
similar to how we're using AI to communicate with animals now.
That's the idea.
It's a pretty mind-boggling concept.
It is, yeah.
But before we jump into the cosmos,
Okay.
let's like break down the foundation of communication itself.
Right.
That Wikipedia article lays it out pretty clearly.
Okay.
What are like the core elements we need to understand? It actually calls talking a pretty complex process,
Yeah.
even though, we do it without thinking.
Right.
Can you break down just what's going on there for those of us who aren't like communication scientists?
Okay, well, think of it.
Oh, is there like a good analogy?
Yeah. Think of it like sending a letter, right?
Okay.
You got your sender,
Mm-hmm.
they have their message, they write it all out.
They put it in the envelope.
Exactly, the envelope, and then they send it through the mail.
Okay, I'm with you so far.
Now, the person who gets that letter,
That's the receiver.
right, they have to open it up, they got to read it, and then the important part, understand it.
Make sense of it.
Okay.
You have a sender, a message, a channel,
Yeah.
a receiver, and then the processes of encoding and decoding.
Okay.
So essentially, communication is just the exchange of information.
Right.
And this applies to a surprisingly wide range of scenarios,
Like what?
from a simple conversation
Yeah.
to a complex computer network.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's more than just words, right?
Absolutely.
What about all those like unspoken cues
Yeah.
that play such a huge role in how we understand each other?
That's where nonverbal communication comes in.
Okay.
Think about body language, facial expressions, tone of voice.
Mm-hmm.
These cues can often convey more meaning than the words themselves.
It's like that saying, actions speak louder than words.
Exactly.
Right. We can say one thing,
Yeah.
but our body language might tell a completely different story.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is that some theorists believe human communication
Okay.
is fundamentally nonverbal,
Oh, wow.
with language simply layered on top.
Okay, so let's unpack that a bit more.
How could human communication be primarily nonverbal?
Well, just think about it.
Yeah.
Before we learned to speak,
Right.
we communicated through cries, gestures, facial expression.
Babies. Yeah.
Babies are masters
Yeah.
of nonverbal communication,
Right.
letting their needs be known
Yeah.
long before they can actually form words.
That's true.
Yeah.
And even as adults, those nonverbal cues still hold a lot of power.
Right? Absolutely.
Like a simple smile
Yeah.
can convey warmth and friendliness,
Right?
while like a furrowed brow might signal concern or confusion.
Exactly. And these cues often operate on a subconscious level, influencing our perceptions and interactions without us even realizing it.
Interesting.
The Wikipedia article actually dives into various forms of nonverbal communication, like proxemics,
What's that?
which is the use of space to communicate.
So like standing really close to someone
Exactly.
might convey intimacy or aggression,
Exactly.
depending on the context.
Depending on the context, right?
Okay.
Or think about chronemics,
Chronemics.
which is how we use time to communicate.
Mm.
Showing up late for a meeting
Yeah.
can send a very different message than arriving early.
Wow. I never thought about time as a form of communication.
Yeah,
But it makes sense.
it does.
So how does all of this
Yeah.
relate to the idea of connecting with something bigger than ourselves?
Right.
Could nonverbal cues be the key?
That's where things get really interesting.
Oh.
If we consider that nonverbal communication is so deeply ingrained in our biology and evolution,
Yeah.
it's possible that certain nonverbal cues might be universal,
Okay.
transcending cultural boundaries and even species barriers.
So like a smile signifies happiness across cultures.
Exactly.
Maybe there are nonverbal ways to express feelings of peace, connection, or even curiosity
That's the idea.
that could be understood by any intelligent being anywhere in the universe.
Potentially, yeah.
Okay, so that brings us back to the Earth.org article you mentioned earlier. It highlights how connecting with nature has been shown to improve well-being and promote pro-environmental behavior.
Right.
What if this connection goes beyond just like relaxation?
You're thinking there's a deeper level of communication happening.
Yeah, like we're instinctively understanding a language that nature is speaking.
Precisely.
Okay.
Imagine if the rustling leaves, the crashing waves, the chirping birds
Yeah.
are all communicating something that we're picking up on a subconscious level.
Interesting.
And if we can connect with nature in this way, perhaps we can extend that connection to the universe or other entities.
Okay, I'm starting to see where you're going with this.
Okay.
And that's where CE5 comes into play, right?
Yes.
Instead of relying on traditional language or technology, it focuses on using consciousness and meditation
Exactly.
to connect with extraterrestrial intelligence.
Yeah. CE5 practitioners believe that by cultivating feelings of peace, connection, and curiosity,
Okay.
and then projecting those feelings outward,
Yeah. They can establish a form of communication that transcends the limitations of language.
so it's not about sending out specific words or phrases,
Right.
but about creating a resonant frequency
That's a great way to put it.
of consciousness.
Yeah.
Okay, and this ties in with the fascinating work being done with AI and animal communication.
Exactly.
Remember that article we have about the breakthroughs
Yes.
in decoding animal languages?
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's amazing how AI is being used to analyze animal vocalizations, facial expressions, even electrical signals in plants
It's incredible.
to decipher the nuances of their communication.
It really is, yeah.
It's mind-boggling to think that we might finally be able to understand what animals have been trying to tell us all along.
Exactly.
But how does this connect to CE5 and the idea of a universal language?
Just as AI is being used to decode the complex communication systems of animals,
Okay.
it could potentially be used to create a universal Rosetta Stone.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah. Are we talking about creating a device that can translate emotions?
It might sound like science fiction,
Yeah, a little bit.
but the underlying principles are being explored by researchers right now.
So, like a universal mood ring
Imagine a device
powered by AI.
that could analyze the subtle energetic frequencies of our emotions
Okay.
and translate them into a format that could be understood by any being,
Wow.
whether it's a dolphin, a tree, or even an extraterrestrial.
That's a pretty wild concept.
It is, yeah.
But wouldn't that require a level of understanding about consciousness and energy
It's definitely a challenge.
that we're still a long way from achieving?
But the fact that we're even considering these possibilities shows how far we've come in our understanding of communication.
That's true.
Just like the deciphering of Enochian, which was considered a lost language for centuries,
Oh, wow.
required meticulous study and analysis of patterns and symbols.
Right.
Creating a universal Rosetta Stone will require a deep understanding of consciousness, frequency, and the fundamental nature of communication itself.
Okay, I'm starting to see the parallels here.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, how does Enochian, a language supposedly used by angels,
Right.
fit into this whole picture of universal communication? It seems like a bit of a leap.
It might seem that way, but
Okay.
remember, Enochian was once a complete mystery.
Right.
It took scholars years of dedicated research to crack its code,
Wow.
to understand its grammar and symbolism.
So you're saying that if we can decipher a language as complex and seemingly esoteric as Enochian,
Yeah.
then maybe, just maybe, a universal language based on feelings and frequencies
Yeah.
isn't as far-fetched as it sounds.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And just like the deciphering of Enochian opened up new avenues of understanding about ancient wisdom and spiritual practices,
Right.
a universal Rosetta Stone could unlock profound insights into the nature of consciousness, the interconnectedness of all things,
Wow.
and potentially even the mysteries of the universe itself.
Okay, I'm officially intrigued. But before we get too carried away with the possibilities,
Yeah.
let's bring it back to the practical side.
Yeah, sure.
How could we even begin to build this universal Rosetta Stone?
Right.
What are the building blocks of such a profound endeavor?
Well, one crucial element is understanding the role
Okay.
of feelings and frequency in communication.
Okay.
We know that everything in the universe vibrates at a certain frequency,
Right.
from tiny atoms to massive galaxies.
Mhm.
And increasingly, research suggests
Okay.
that human emotions also have distinct energetic frequencies.
So you're saying our feelings literally have a vibe,
In a sense, yes.
that we're walking around emitting emotional radio waves.
Think about how you can feel the energy in a room
Wow.
full of joyful people,
Right.
or the palpable tension when people are arguing.
Oh, yeah.
These aren't just social dynamics. There's
Yeah.
an energetic component.
I've definitely walked into a room and felt like I could cut the tension with a knife.
Exactly.
So if our emotions have frequencies, could we use them to communicate?
That's the idea.
Okay.
If everything vibrates at a frequency,
Yeah.
then theoretically, frequency could be a bridge for communication.
Like tuning our consciousness to the frequency of another being to establish a connection.
Yeah.
But how do we even tune our consciousness like that?
That's where practices like meditation come in.
Okay.
Many traditions teach techniques for quieting the mind, increasing awareness,
Right.
and subtly shifting our energetic frequencies.
Okay, and as we discussed earlier, CE5 incorporates these practices
Exactly.
to facilitate communication with extraterrestrial intelligence.
Yeah, so it's about actively using our consciousness
Okay,
to connect with other frequencies.
but could we use AI to help us with this? I mean,
That's where the potential synergy between ancient practices and modern technology
Right.
gets really exciting.
I'm not sure I could tune into a dolphin's frequency on my own.
Imagine algorithms that analyze the frequencies of our emotions, translate them into a universally understandable format,
Yeah.
and then transmit them.
So like a high-tech mood ring that broadcasts our feelings to the universe.
That's a simplified analogy,
Yeah.
but it captures the essence.
Right.
We're talking about bridging the gap
Mm-hmm.
between our inner world of feelings
Right.
and the vast network of frequencies that permeate the universe.
This all sounds incredibly futuristic.
It's early days in this research.
Is there any evidence this type of communication is even possible?
There are intriguing hints.
Like what?
Studies have shown certain frequencies can influence plant growth
Okay.
and even human brainwave patterns.
Mm-hmm.
And anecdotal reports from CE5 practitioners suggest they've been able to establish contact
Right.
using focused intention and meditation.
So while we might not have concrete proof,
Right.
the possibility is there.
The possibility is there.
And if we crack the code of this universal language,
Mhm.
the implications would be huge.
Absolutely. It would transform our understanding of communication, consciousness, and our place in the cosmos.
It could foster greater empathy, facilitate scientific discoveries,
Absolutely.
and even open up possibilities for interspecies collaboration.
It's really incredible.
This has been an incredible deep dive.
It has.
We've gone from basic communication to the potential
Right.
for a universal language based on feelings and frequencies.
It's a lot to take in, but
Yeah.
hopefully it sparks a sense of wonder
Mhm.
and a desire to keep exploring these ideas.
Absolutely. And for our listeners,
Yeah.
I leave you with this question.
Yeah.
If you could communicate with any being in the universe,
Oh, that's a good one.
what would you ask? Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah.
And until next time, keep exploring the mysteries of the universe,
Absolutely.
but both within and beyond.
Great.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
See you later.
I would have been on top of the charts, but it's politics. You do some gimmick shit and post, you get a lot of clicks. Drop some real shit and they probably won't acknowledge it.